people, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little hoarse. Hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to share something very briefly, hopefully. Tonight I had the pleasure, and I put this briefly on my Instagram, K's Views, but I just couldn't type in the rest because sometimes verbal description on video is better than on writing. I met two out of the Central Park 5. It was a huge case in 1989. 5 teenagers were wrongfully convicted. At the time, it was allegedly, but it was discovered later, a few years later, they were wrongfully convicted of rape in Central Park. I know it was national news, and I just happened to walk into an event in a place that I've been a few times, familiar with. Didn't realize at the other end of the place they had a semi-private gathering. Anyway, I met 2 out of the Central Park 5 innocent man now. Oh, I can't say young now, but I think there were the other 2 were there, but these particular 2 stood out to me as far as being very social, and they were kind of like social butterflies, very easy to approach. My friend and I met some girls there. We just started talking, and we bonded. It was really cool. It was a lovely evening, and they explained to us what the event was on the other side. And I remember that moment when I heard it's a private event on the other side, and it's part of some of the guys from Central Park 5 are there, and they're selling t-shirts and everything, and there's a portion of proceeding goes to sorry guys, I'm a little hoarse. A portion of the proceeding of the sweatshirts and t-shirts go to one of the projects for innocent for the innocent. I feel kind of bad that I'm looking down because I thought I wrote this, but anyway, some of the portions of the proceeding are going to a project that they're passionately very involved with the Innocence Project. I hope I'm saying it correctly, and if I'm not, I completely, genuinely apologize for that. Who I met was Korey and Kevin Richardson. At the end of the video, I'll show you several photos of my experience meeting with these 2 particular. And I say particular because Mr. Satana was there. Out of respect, let me say his name. Raymond Satana, who started the clothing line. His clothing line that he started is called Park Madison NYC. So if you see any sweatshirts or t-shirts on anyone, call Park Madison NYC. It goes towards the Innocence Project. A proceeding of it goes to the Innocence Project. They all become advocates. And all the shirts and sweatshirts pretty much say Park Madison NYC. And then there's some of the t-shirts, I believe, just the first name of all the Park 5, Central Park 5 guy's name on it. For those, again, this happened 1989. 5 teenagers were wrongfully convicted of rape of a Caucasian woman in Central Park. That's why Raymond Satana have created this clothing line of t-shirts and sweatshirts called Park Madison, which is between Park and Madison. For those who are New Yorkers, know the location of that section of Central Park. I think it was perfect because the name is perfect, Park Madison, because it's Park Avenue and Madison Avenue. That's where the woman was attacked. And the name of the clothing line, the fact that it's Park Madison NYC, is symbolism to me. That's where their whole life changed. Not only because the woman said this is where she was attacked, but the location of it is what changed their whole life, right? And that was in 1889, correct? So, in 1889, I was about 14 going on 15, right? So pretty much, these were teenagers. So, as teenagers, we grew up watching this on TV, on the news. I remembered it. It was so hard back then to determine, because the news was very different back then, right? Nowadays it's sort of like questionable, some of the news, but back then we were raised where I'm so sorry, I'm like exhausted. We were raised where my upbringing back then, and the custom of, is trusting the news, right? Now we question it, we do our own research, as we all should. But back then, I recall seeing this as a teenager and following this and not knowing. We really had no reference back then. People my age really did not have anything to go by as far as internet, as far as double checking our homework, nothing. So this was pretty much, it was what it was, and we went along with whether we believed it or not is what the news said, and we followed it, and of course we made our own conclusion. And as years go by and things kept popping up, as it if you will, we started questioning more and more as things changed. So just to refresh your memory, and I just want to respect the guys because they were actually exonerated due to DNA. Again, in 1989, they were wrongfully convicted of rape. The oldest one was Korey, was 16 years of age. Was convicted of 5 to 15 years, served 12. Kevin Richardson, the second person I meant tonight, he was given 14, did more than 5 years. Yusef Salam, Salamm, my apologies, I'm mispronouncing it, convicted of 14, served 7. Raymond Satana, convicted of 14, served 5 years. And Antron McCrae, convicted of 15, served 10 years old. Served 10. Again, as I said, they were exonerated, and there's even a Netflix docuseries regarding their story and how everything, pretty much how everything happened. It's a bio of their story. It's called When They See Us. Definitely please tune into that. Anyway, I had the pleasure tonight of meeting Korey Wise, and that's Korey with K, Korey, Wise, and Kevin Richardson. I did see Raymond Satana. Again, those who know me, it depends on their energy. I don't know if he was just busy. I don't know what it was. But Korey and Kevin just seem more approachable. I could be wrong. And I'm saying this. I could totally be wrong, people. So whoever's watching, I totally apologize. Again, this is just, this is basically could just be my impression of it. All I have to say is, did I make an effort? No, I did not make an effort to approach Raymond Satana, who actually began the clothing line. Should have? I don't know. But my point is, I got into a nice conversation with Kevin and Korey. Korey's the oldest one. And you see, he's a little... I'm 5'5". I don't think he's my height, but he's short. But he's about maybe 5'7", I guess. Sweetie Pie, even more good looking in person. I gotta say, both of them actually. It was refreshing to, I'm looking at them and I'm like, you're better looking in person than from what we see on TV. Very down to earth, very humble. Even though I was surrounded by two guys that have millions of dollars, they absolutely did not talk, behaved as if they had millions, right? Very humble, which made it even more of a awesome experience. But what I wanted to share that stood out to me was the two young ladies I met tonight. Was having a conversation with them, and we were pretty much, I think I probably briefly jumped in, I'm not sure, I think I did, and we were just basically talking to Korey about how inspirational the stories are, and how we felt about it. And I was telling Korey, being from Washington Heights, Manhattan, born and raised in New York City, I was a teenager, I was like 14, 15. I think the oldest one was 16. And I'm telling this to Korey, the oldest one. By the way, such pretty eyes. It doesn't even, photos and video does not do him justice. It's just good looking guy. That's the shorter one. But so I was basically explaining to him how I remember the emotions I was feeling, and so confused, because it's like you and I were pretty much in the same age range when this happened, and it felt very confusing listening to this. I mean, listening to everything that was happening at that time. It's not beer. It's Malta. Malt beverage. Non-alcoholic. Google it if you like. Anyway. So, in other words, as we were saying all this to him, and I finished saying what I was saying, the girls were, I, I stopped saying what I was just saying. You know, I finished, I made my point that how very inspirational, everything, whatever. And then I stopped because there was a face expression. I don't know, I caught on to the vibe, whatever it is. Um, he said something that put things in perspective, right? Regardless of everything that I've gone through medically, because that's a huge part of my struggle this past 20 something years is medically, right? And boy, I've been pulled through the ringer. The fact that these young, I mean, the fact that these guys we share an age at that time. I was 14 going to 15. The oldest was 16. Just to put it in perspective, the oldest, 16, right? They were interrogated 24 hours, exhausted. I believe nothing to be, I don't believe, if I remember, they weren't giving anything to eat. And they were repeatedly being told the same thing over and over again. They just wanted to be over with. Exhausted, no lawyers, no counsel, anything. I mean, nothing that would legally would happen now, right? Totally a different time back then. My point is, thinking of all that, he turns to me and to the other two young ladies and said, with all that happened, that's the past. What I like to do is take today, and he had a glass of mimosa. A second glass of mimosa that was brought to him as a bunch of us were talking. And I remember he picked up his second glass and said, you see this right here? This is what I'm focused on right now, at this moment. My glass of mimosa, meeting you young ladies, talking to you guys, experiencing all this, nice place, supporting my brothers because they consider the Central Park 5 are family, from what I was told from them. They're families, they're brothers, not by blood, but by the experience, which is probably stronger than any blood brothers that I could think of. And as you see in some of the photos, Kevin Richardson, actually had a necklace medallion that says Central Park 5, right? And you see it. Apparently they all have them, right? I mean, they wear them when they want to wear them, but apparently they all have them because they're bonded. Like one of them said, we're bonded for life. It's like, whether they like it or not, they're brothers for life, right? I think Yusuf was not there. He currently lives in North Carolina. I don't recall seeing him. But anyway, the fact that Korey put that in perspective and said, you see this? Meaning as he held his mimosa, that's what he's focusing on. Whatever happened is the past. He likes to focus on the positive and push forward and just continue educating whatever. And he continues. He's a big advocate. He gives speeches to different schools. Huge advocate, right? which most of them are. When he said that, I remember looking at him and I said, there's no way possible ever I can ever think of anything that I could compare to what their experience was, being innocent and scared at a time where at a scary time where is and right now we're in a different type of scary. What I mean scary time back then was 89, 90. They were able to kind of basically get over a lot of crap when it came to remaining silence and having counsel for teenagers, any minors. Now they know that if they interrogate a minor, it's going to be thrown out in court, right? I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying now the justice are held to a higher standards. Yes, I know I'm not going to get into a whole justice thing right now, but you guys know what I mean. It's a whole different thing, And not even not even the police department want to even begin to question a minor without showing proof that they had counsel or parents, right? Because it's why even do that if you know that your case is going to be thrown out, right? You're not going to win. I'm just saying as the law side, they're not going to win. Well, anyway, it just put things in perspective to me, and it's just amazing. Anyway, it was just emotional meeting them. And I did get a little choked up a little bit listening to him, how the glass of mimosa is what he was focusing on, meeting new people, and how they appreciate the support, how they appreciate not only the continuous support um, and how they just continue to be advocates, supporting those who they believe are wrongfully convicted. There's a lot of programs out there, aside from their own project, Project Innocent or Innocent Project. Again, my apologies if I'm saying it wrong. Innocence Project. There we go. And I just needed to kind of give you an example verbally on a video, because it's just no matter how much I could type on Instagram or whatever, maybe is different. I thought maybe I could kind of show more of my emotions and my experience tonight. Again, it was a pleasure and honor. It was emotional meeting them, being able to hug them and talk to them. Nothing can replace them. Whether they seem strong, I can say to me, I mean, of course, this is just my personal opinion. Regardless how strong they may seem, I do hope and pray that they do continuous therapy. Because I can't see anyone going through what they went through and not get therapy. As young teenagers going through a horrible experience, and then years later being exonerated, and I mean, who know? I mean, it wasn't the time or place to even ask them if they have any opinion with what's going on in the world today with Trump, with which I'm sure when they were able to be more aware what's going on the outside, where there were more TV activity in there from what's going on with NYPD. There was just not the time or place. But anyway, people, I really wanted to keep this short, but I'm always running my mouth. Anyway, that's my experience tonight. You go out with a friend, have a great evening, then you end up even having a wonderful, unexpected evening. And I could go to sleep tonight with that perspective. It might not last long, of course, but just consider, next time you're having a bad day, which I probably, who knows when I'm going to have a bad day. Because I had a pretty bad day today. And I'm in a lot of pain, my knee and my back. Met up with a friend for a personal reason and ended up meeting these people because they reserved the other side of the restaurant for that special event. So it was a really nice ending of the evening. Very educational for me. Such a pleasure. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. I hope that you have an inspirational week or find an inspirational day. Hopefully very soon that approaches you and you feel inspired. Okay? So, as a reminder, be kind to everyone. It doesn't cost a thing. It's good karma. Okay. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Kay's Views. I'll see you soon. Bye.